So today we're going to install the IntelliJ IDEA IDE and some drivers and jar files for Selenium framework on Windows 10. So let's get started. So open your Google and type IntelliJ IDEA IDE. The very first link that we see is the www.jetbrains.com. So click on this link. The IntelliJ IDEA is an integrated development environment, that is the IDE, which is written in Java for developing the computer software, and it was developed by the JetBrains. Now apart from all this, IntelliJ IDEA IDE also has features like we have the built-in tools, we have the JVM languages like Java, Kotlin, Scala, Groovy, and also it supports some of the frameworks like the Spring, Java EE. And it supports the mobile development and web development as well, like the HTML, CSS, Angular, Node.js. So these are some of the features of IntelliJ IDEA IDE. In terms of system requirement, we need a RAM of 2 GB minimum, and disk space that we require is of 3 GB of space. And also before installing the IntelliJ IDEA IDE, we have to install the JDK first. So all we need to do is first type JDK download. Now I haven't installed the JDK. I'll show you. Go to CMD and I'll type Java space dash version. Here you can see I haven't installed my JDK. It says that Java is not recognized as an internal or external command or operable program or batch file. I will run this command again after installing my JDK. So I'll close this, and here you see we have the www.oracle.com. Click on this link. And we have different versions of Java JDK. We have the Java SE 15, we have the Java SE 14, and we have the Java SE 11. We're going to download the latest one. Click on JDK download. Now if you have Mac OS, if you're using Mac OS, you can install installer. You can click this one, and if you're using Windows, then you can click this one. So I'm using Windows, so I click this file. Now here you must accept the license agreement for Oracle Java SE, which says I reviewed and accept the Oracle Technology Network license agreement for Oracle Java SE. You have to simply just click on this checkbox and click on download JDK 15. So now here you can see that my Java JDK has been downloaded. So all I'll need to do is I'll just click on this. So click on next. So this is the place where your Java JDK will be saved. Let it be this way, and click on next. And here you can see that it is getting installed. It will take some time, so wait for it. So here you can see that my Java SE Development Kit 15 has been successfully installed. So I'll click close, and here I'll type CMD again. Just simply type Java space dash version, and here you can see Java version 15, Java SE runtime build 15 is been installed. This shows that you have successfully installed your Java JDK 15, and if it's not coming this way, and if you type this command and this is not the output of it, you need to go through the steps again and install it again. So now we have installed our Java JDK on our system. So we're going to set the environment variable. Simply just type environment variable, and here you can see edit the system environment variable. Click on this. Here you can see environment variable, right? Click on environment variable. Here you'll see system variables. In this system variable window, click on path and click edit. So click on new, and here we're going to enter the path. How are you going to do it? So just go on C drive go on C drive, go to program files, and here you can see Java. Go to Java, go to JDK 15, go to the bin folder and copy this path and paste it over here. So this is going to be the new system environment variable. Click OK and click OK and click OK. So you have set your environment variables as well. So we can install the IntelliJ IDEA IDE now. Simply go to the official website of IntelliJ IDEA IDE and go to download. Here we have two versions, the ultimate version and the community version, and if you're using Windows, go to Windows, and if you're using Mac, then click on Mac, and if you're using Linux, then click on Linux. So I'm using Windows, so I'll be clicking on Windows, and we're going to download the community version. Simply just click on download. And here you can see that my IntelliJ IDEA, the IDE, the community version is getting downloaded. So now here you can see that my IntelliJ IDEA, the community version has been downloaded. So click on this, click on next, click next. So over here, create desktop shortcut, yes, for the 64-bit, and update context menu. I'll click add open folder as a project. Then create associations. I don't want to create any associations for now. Then update path variable, that is restart needed, and add launchers dir to the path. I click on this checkbox as well, and I'll click next. Then I click on install. And here you can see that the IntelliJ IDEA IDE, the community version, is getting installed. And just click on finish. So here you can see that the IntelliJ IDEA IDE, the community version, has been installed, and I have created a shortcut desktop icon over here. So I'll just click on this and I'll click I confirm that I have read and accepted the terms of this user agreement, and I'll click continue. Data sharing, I'll just click don't send. I don't want to share data sharing. So this is the UI theme. I'll click the light one. Go to next. Just go to next. Go to next. Okay, so click on new project. Here click on Java. And here you can see that we have the Java version 15 because you have downloaded the JDK. So it will be visible here, and if you have not downloaded the JDK, it will show that link to download JDK. Like here you can see over here download JDK. So I have downloaded, so it's showing 15 Java version 15 has been downloaded JDK. Just click on next. Create project from template. Click next. So I'll just write hello world. So let's run a program over here. I'll simply write s out, and here you can see, like if I write s out, is system out.println. So this IntelliJ IDEA IDE has a very cool feature of auto completing it. Like if I write s out, it's in system out.println, and there are many more shortcuts to this. We will learn as and on we keep on programming. We'll keep learning it. So I'll just write hello world, and I'll click on this button, that is the run main. Click on it. And here you can see, here it's hello world. So we have installed the Java JDK, we have set the variable path also, and then we have installed the IntelliJ IDEA IDE, and we executed a program and it's successfully executed. So we're done with the installation of the JDK and the IntelliJ IDEA IDE. Now we have to install jar files and some of the drivers that we require for the browsers for the Selenium framework. So all we need to do is just go to the official web page of Selenium, that is the Selenium HQ. Here you see we have the www.selenium.dev. Click on this, click on downloads, and here we have the Selenium client and WebDriver language bindings. See, to create WebDriver, Selenium WebDriver scripts, you need to make use of language specific client drivers. Now, as we know, Selenium supports many languages like Ruby, Java, Python, C#, and JavaScript. So for every language, we have the specific client drivers. For Ruby, we have some client drivers. For Java, we have some client drivers. So we'll be using Java. We'll be doing Selenium with Java. So here you can see we have the stable version for Java is 3.141.59, and the latest release that we have the alpha release 4. I have discussed about the Selenium versions also in the previous tutorial, so you can check out that. So we're going to do with Java, Selenium with Java. So simply click on download. So here you can see we have the zip file of Selenium Java. I'm going to extract it. And here we have the executable jar files. So it is recommended that you create a separate folder for the Selenium jar files and the drivers. So I'll be creating a separate folder of jar files and drivers. Just create it on any drive like C drive or D drive or somewhere, because we're going to download many jar files and many drivers. So locating them, and it will be placed in somewhere, and then locating them and finding them at that point of time will be very hard. So just simply make a folder over here. I'll be naming Selenium jars and drivers. Create a folder in Selenium jars and drivers. I'll name it jars, and I'll create a separate folder also, name it drivers. And in drivers, we're going to install the Chrome driver and the Firefox driver. So we'll make the folders for that as well. Let's make things very systematic, because if we don't do it, then it will be very problematic. So this way we have created a new folder in our D drive, that is the Selenium jars and drivers. So we have downloaded jar files. Let's check that out. We have the first two jar files over here. We're going to copy it and place it over here. Then again over here, go to libs, and we have the jar files here also. So we're going to copy it here, and here it is. So we're going to add these jar files now to our IDE. So just create a new project for Selenium, Java next. I'll name it as Selenium. I'll change the package name to Selenium, and I'll click finish. So here it is. Now we're going to add the jar files that we have downloaded. Simply go on File, go to Project Structure. Must accept. Okay, just click on Accept and go to Modules. Here you can see Dependency tab. Go to Dependency, and here you can see there's a plus sign, right? So click on this plus sign, and here you see jars or directories. Click on jars or directories. Go to the drive where you have created your folder. I've created in D drive, and I have named it as Selenium jars and drivers. Go to jars and select all those jars that you have downloaded, and simply just click OK. So here you can see that I have added my jar file over here. So just click on Apply, click OK, So here you can see that I can see all my jar files over here in external libraries. Okay, so we have added the jar files also. So now let's download the drivers. So all I need to do is same on Selenium HQ, just go down, and here you can see platform supported by Selenium. Browsers. Click on browsers, and for different browsers we have different drivers. Like for Firefox we have the Gecko driver, for Internet Explorer we have the Internet Explorer driver, for Safari we have the Safari driver, for Chrome we have the Chrome driver. So basically we will perform all our test cases in Chrome driver. We're going to launch the Chrome driver frequently, but in the next tutorial I will explain how to launch drivers like the Firefox driver, the Chrome driver. So for that we need to download the drivers for it. So all we need to do is just click on documentation over here, and here you can see the latest beta version that we have is the Chrome driver 86, and the stable version that we have the 85. Now see, over here you need to check your Chrome browser version first. So what you need to do is go on settings and go to about Chrome, and here you can see your version. It's version 85, and if it is not updated then please update it and then download your driver, because your driver version and your Google browser, the Chrome browser, should match, and if it's not matching, and then your browser will not be launched. So here I have the stable version, that is the 85 version. So I'll be clicking over here, and here you can see this page. If you have Linux, click over here. If you have Mac, click on this link, and if you have Windows, then click on this link. I'm having Windows, so I'll be clicking on this link. Here you can see this is the Chrome driver, this is the zip file. I will extract it. I have the exe file over here. Copy this file and paste it in the folder that you have created in Chrome driver. Same way, we're going to download the Firefox driver. Go to documentation. Here we have different versions of Gecko driver. So what you're going to do is just go to Firefox and check out the version that you have. Simply go on settings, go to general, and here you will see that your updated version, that is the version 81. I'm having 81.0.1. So my Firefox is updated, so I'm going to download the version 81. Just go on Gecko driver release, and here you will see the driver versions. Now I'm having Windows 64-bit, so I'll be clicking this, and if you have Mac then click this, and if you have Linux, so depending upon your operating system, just click. So here you can see we have the Gecko driver. It's a zip folder, so we're going to extract files, and here you can see it is an exe application. We're going to simply copy it and paste it to the folder where you have created your drivers folder in Firefox driver. First we're going to create two sets of test cases. We will learn how to launch the browser. Next we will learn how to navigate to a particular URL. We will understand the hierarchy of the interfaces and the classes in the Selenium WebDriver. Also we will understand a particular command, that is the Chrome driver is equal to new Chrome driver. Why is it not called the best practice? Okay, so let's get started. So as we know, before automating any test script, we have to prepare manual test cases first. So first we will create two sets of test cases over here. So the first set. In the first set we will have three test cases. The first test case is open the Chrome browser, or to launch the Chrome browser. Now whenever we create the manual test cases, to open the browser or to launch a browser is the first test case, is always the first test case. Okay. Next we're going to navigate to the URL, that is the www.google.com. The third command is close the browser. So these are the three test cases that we are going to execute. One is the open the Chrome browser, that we are going to launch the Chrome browser. Next, we're going to navigate to the URL www.google.com. And the third, we're going to close the browser that we are opening. Okay. This is the first set. In the second set, we're going to launch the Firefox browser. Open the Firefox browser. Next, we're going to navigate to the URL, that is the www.google.com. Next is we're going to close the browser, that is the Firefox browser. Okay, these are the two sets of test cases that we have prepared. Now we're going to execute these test cases today. As we know that the Selenium supports many browsers like the Firefox browser, the Chrome browser, the Internet Explorer browser, Safari browser. As we have installed the exe file of the Chrome driver and the Firefox driver that we have installed in the previous lecture. So we are going to launch the Chrome driver and the Firefox driver, and since the process is very similar, so once you understand how to launch a particular browser, you can launch any of the browser according to your requirement. Okay, open IntelliJ IDE. So in the previous tutorial, we had included our jar files in a Selenium project. We had created a Selenium project. We included our jar files in that. So we're going to continue in that project itself. So yeah, as we know, so yeah, we have created two sets of test cases. We are going to execute it. How are we going to do that? First thing, we know for Chrome browser, the driver that we require is the Chrome driver, right? That we have installed in our computers. We have installed the Chrome driver and the Firefox driver. So first we will execute for the Chrome driver, and then I will execute the test cases for the Firefox driver. Okay. For the Chrome browser, we require the Chrome driver. So now what we're going to do first, the very first step that we are having is the open the Chrome browser. This is the first step, right? So how we're going to do that? First thing, we're going to create the object of Chrome driver. Okay, we're going to create the object of Chrome driver. But how do we refer this Chrome driver object? We need to understand the hierarchy of the Selenium WebDriver, which has the classes and the interfaces. So let's understand that first. So this is the diagram that we are having. The Selenium provides a many number of classes and the interfaces, and we need to understand the hierarchy of classes and interfaces. Now to understand this hierarchy, we need to have a knowledge about the interfaces and the inheritance concept of Java. Now here you can see this diagram, right? In Selenium WebDriver, the search context, the very first interface, these yellow boxes are interfaces and the green boxes are the classes. Okay, so this yellow box, search context, this is the super interface of the WebDriver, and it contains only two methods, that is the find element and the find elements. Yes, these two methods are different. It is not just about a S in find elements. They are different. They are used to find the element on our web page, the web elements that we have, that is the text box, the drop down menu. These commands help to find the web elements on the web page. So we will understand that when we practically implement the test cases, but for now let us understand that the search context, this search context that we have is the super interface and is an interface that contains abstract methods. Now what are these abstract methods? These methods are these abstract methods are the methods that has no implementation. They have only definition. There is no implementation of abstract methods. They just have the definition. Okay, so this is the search context, that is the super interface, which has the abstract method, find element and the find elements. Next, we have the WebDriver interface. Okay, the WebDriver interface, which is extended from the search context. Okay, it is extended from the search context. This means that it contains the methods, the abstract methods of find element, and find elements method is also in the WebDriver. Apart from this, it also has the other methods like the get method, the quit method, close, get window handles, and many other methods. Okay, so all these are abstract methods that has only body and there is no implementation. Okay, and so these are the topmost root interface. Apart from this, the WebDriver also has the nested interface. Okay, it also has some nested interfaces like which has windows, navigation, target locator, timeouts option. These are also abstract methods. Through these methods, through these interfaces, we can perform various operations like navigating to the URL, maximizing the window, and many more. Okay, so the WebDriver also includes the nested interfaces. Next, we have the remote WebDriver. This is a fully implemented class, okay, which implements the interface WebDriver. Here you can see it implements the WebDriver interface. Okay, now this WebDriver, remote WebDriver, this remote WebDriver is a fully implemented class. Here you can see it's a fully implemented class where all the abstract methods coming from the search context and the WebDriver are implemented in this particular class. Because obviously when we create abstract classes, right, so these when we create abstract methods, we have to use those methods. You just don't have to keep it, you will use it. That is why there is no implementation and only definition in it. As I said, your core Java knowledge will be required over here to understand this hierarchy. So that is why we need to have the knowledge of inheritance and interfaces of core Java. So the remote WebDriver, so the remote WebDriver contains methods of the search context and the WebDriver. In addition, also it implements the JavaScript executor and takes screenshot. Okay, so it implements these interfaces also, which has abstract methods on its own, and we can implement those abstract methods. So to the conclusion, we can say that the remote WebDriver is a fully implemented class which contains the abstract methods of the WebDriver interface and the search context interface and the take screenshot interface and the JavaScript executor. Okay, so this is about the remote WebDriver. Now here you can see these classes. These classes are the browsers that we have of Selenium. Selenium supports many browsers, you know, right? The Firefox browser, the Internet Explorer browser, the Edge browser, a Safari browser. So the remote WebDriver, it extends these classes, and here you can see these classes are the web browsers that we have, that is the Firefox browser, Internet Explorer browsers. Okay, so now there are various versions of Selenium, as I told in the previous tutorial. From 4th version, here you can see this is the Chromium driver and Chrome driver, right? From the 4th version, the Chrome driver extends the Chromium driver. This has happened from the 4th version. They had made some changes. They had included a Chromium driver also, which through which the Chrome driver will get extended. So these were the changes in the 4th release of Selenium. So this is the hierarchy of Selenium class and interface, in which we have the super interface, that is the search context. Then we have the WebDriver interface, which includes nested interfaces also, which has many abstract methods like windows, navigation, target locator, timeouts options. Then we have the remote WebDriver, which implements the interface WebDriver. And it also implements the JavaScript executor and the take screenshot interface. Next we have the browsers. These are the browsers which is supported by the Selenium, and the remote WebDriver extend these classes. These are classes. Okay, remember the remote WebDriver and these browser are the classes, whereas the search context, WebDriver, nested interfaces, take screenshot, and JavaScript executor are the interfaces. Okay, this is the complete hierarchy of the Selenium class and the interface. So now let's move to the program. So now over here, for opening the Chrome browser, the first thing that we did over here is we created a object of Chrome driver, right? Now how do we refer this object? Here in the, so remember this Chrome driver is a class, right? As I have shown in the hierarchy, it is a class. Now here, just refer to this hierarchy again, and here we can see that the web driver is the parent interface. Here you can see that the web driver is the parent interface, and now you must be saying no, the remote web driver is the parent. But what am I talking about? I'm talking about the interface. Focus on what I'm saying. I'm talking about interface. The web driver is the parent interface and the remote web driver is a class. Okay. Remote web driver is a class and the web driver is an interface. So here the parent interface will be web driver. So the web driver interface will give a reference to the Chrome driver. How? I'm going to write web driver. I will give a reference like driver is equal to new Chrome driver. So now here in this command, web driver is equal to new Chrome driver, we are using the dynamic polymorphism concept, in which the child class object that is the Chrome driver, is referred by the parent interface, that is the web driver, through a reference variable, and that reference variable is called as driver. Okay. So this is how we are opening the Chrome browser. So let's run this command first. So our Chrome browser is not launched. Why? Let's see. Here it shows an error which says illegal state exception, which says the path to the driver executable must be set by the webdriver.chrome.driver system property. Okay, this is your error. The path to the driver executable must be set by the webdriver.chrome.driver system property. So here it says that I have to define a property, a system property, and to define this system property we have a system class. So I will write system dot set property. Now this set property command has two values need to be entered over here. One is the string key and is the string value. In the string key, what we have to enter? It's given over here itself, webdriver.chrome.driver. We will simply copy this and paste it over here. This is your string key. Whereas the value will be the path where your executable file is saved. That is the Chrome driver. So in my case, I'll go to D drive, rename jars and drivers, and the Chrome driver, because we're launching the Chrome driver. So I will simply just copy this path and I will paste it over here. Change these slashes. Okay, and we're going to include our file name over here. Our file name is Chrome driver. Okay, so we are going to write Chrome driver.exe. Now if you're using Mac, you don't need to write exe because Mac does not support exe files. So there's no requirement to write exe, but if you're using Windows, then you're going to write exe. Okay, we're going to execute this statement now. So here you can see my Chrome browser is launched. You can see this Chrome browser, it is launched, which says Chrome is being controlled by automated test software. Now this Chrome browser and this Chrome browser, the original Chrome browser, these two Chrome browsers are different. Here we cannot see any tab which shows that Chrome browser is being controlled. But over here you can see Chrome is being controlled by automated test software. There's a tab over here. Okay, so this is the difference between the Chrome browser that we are launching through automation and the Chrome browser that we have originally on our computers. So I'll just close this. So we have launched the Chrome browser. And yes, one important question that you must be thinking is by looking at this diagram. Now over here you must be thinking, as I said, that the parent interface is the web driver. but here the super parent interface, that is the search context, is also there. So why are we not writing search context driver? Like I'll just write driver1 equal to new Chrome driver. Now this command is also correct. I'm not saying that this command is wrong, but why are we not writing search context driver is equal to new Chrome driver, and why are we writing web driver is equal to new Chrome driver? The reason behind this is, refer at this diagram again. Here I have told before that the search context interface contains only two methods, that is the find element and the find elements. So if we are writing search context driver1 is equal to new Chrome driver, it will only have two abstract methods, that is the find element and the find elements. Whereas if I'm writing web driver, it has all those methods like the find element and the find elements also, and all the web driver methods as well. So that is the reason why we are writing web driver is equal to new Chrome driver. Okay. So now the next question that you must be thinking is, okay, we are fine with the search context. We are not, there's no advantage in writing search context because it will have only two methods included in it. That is the find element and the find elements. So why not remote? Why not remote web driver? Like we can write remote web driver is equal to new Chrome driver. This is also possible. But the reason behind why we're not writing remote web driver is because the remote web driver mechanism, the architecture of the remote web driver is very different from the web driver. Here there are two reasons. Okay, if we want to use this approach, the remote web driver3 is equal to new Chrome driver. If we are using this approach, then this approach is only accessible when we want to access in remote location. See here, the remote web driver works very different from the web driver, and it also, the remote web driver is a class. Always remember there's a difference between a class and an interface. Okay, so class, and it contains methods which shows that what action is to be performed, that is remote web driver. Whereas interface, it contains the abstract methods. So the remote web driver is not serving as advantages as the web driver that we have included over here. So it is, the best practice is to include the web driver is equal to new Chrome driver. Okay, so I'll delete these commands, and yeah, through system.set property, we have a key value, we have entered the string value over here, that is the webdriver.chrome.driver, and here we have entered the path of our executable Chrome driver. Next we have written web driver is equal to new Chrome driver. Through these two steps, the Chrome browser is launched. Now remember, these two steps are common for all the test cases we are going to write, because in every test case we are going to launch a browser. So these two steps are going to be similar. Okay. So the next test case that we have is navigate to the URL. Okay. How are we going to do that? Now we have driver as a reference variable. We're going to write driver.get, and we're going to include the site where we want to navigate, that is www.google.com. This is the site I want to navigate to, and we're going to run this command. The Chrome browser is launched, but it has not navigated to the URL. Why? Let's see. So here it says Chrome driver was started successfully, and here it says invalid argument exception. There is invalid argument. Why? Let me tell you. Here when we write the URL, you need to write the complete URL, which includes https:// Now let's see. So our Chrome browser is launched, and here it is. It is navigated to the URL, that is the google.com. Okay. So I'll just close this. I'll close this as well. Okay. So now you have understood, to navigate to a URL, we will write driver.get. The get command is used to navigate to the URL. Okay. So the third test case is to close the browser. How are we going to do that? We're going to simply write driver dot close. The close command is used to close the browser. Save it and run. So here our Chrome browser is launched and it is navigated to the URL and it is closed. See, it happens very fast. But yeah, this is the process. Like, we have launched the Chrome browser, we have navigated to the URL, and we have closed the browser. To navigate the URL, we are using the get command, and to close the browser, we are using the close command. So these were the steps to launch the browser, to navigate to the URL, and to close the browser. Now let's execute the second test set, which has the Firefox browser, in which we have to launch the Firefox browser. So I'll comment all these and we're going to launch the Firefox first. Okay, there is no harm if we write both the browsers. There's no harm. It will execute the Chrome browser first and then it will execute the Firefox browser first. We will do that also, but first let us execute this particularly. Okay, so in the next set of test cases, here it is. We have opened the Firefox browser, navigate to the URL and close the browser. The only difference is that we are working with the Firefox browser over here. Okay, and over here we were working with the Chrome browser. So let's start. First thing, the first test case, which says that we have to open the Firefox browser. Okay, so how are we going to do that? Obviously we're going to write system.setProperty, which is having two string values. One is key and one is the value. Okay, so over here you can see, over here the key value is webdriver.chrome.driver. So over here it's going to be webdriver.getco. Getco is the driver name for the Firefox browser. .driver. Okay, this is the key. Now we will enter the value. How are we going to do that? We're going to go to the path where our Firefox driver is saved. Here it is. We're going to copy this path. We're going to simply paste it over here. We will change the slashes and we're going to include the file name. So our file name is getco driver. Getco driver.exe. Okay, and next command. Our next command is that we're going to create an object of Firefox first. And how we're going to refer it? We're going to refer it by the WebDriver interface. WebDriver driver is equal to new Firefox. Okay. Next, we need to navigate to the URL. How are you going to do that? Navigate to the URL. We're going to simply write driver.get HTTPS. We need to write HTTPS : www.google.com. Okay. Then the third command is to close the browser. How are we going to do it? We simply write driver.close. Okay, so let's launch it. So let's run this program. We'll click on this. And here it is. Our Firefox is launched. It is navigated and it's closed. Yes. So as I said, there is no harm. Like, simply I will uncomment all these. I'll name this as driver 1, driver 1 and driver 1. Okay, so let's execute this statement. It will open the Chrome driver first. Yes, it is opening the Chrome driver first, it is navigating and it is closing. Now our Firefox will be opened. Yes, it is navigating and it is closed. So there is no harm if you're including two browsers in one program. There's no harm in that. Okay, just change the reference variable. Here I have changed the reference variable to driver1 and driver1. Now since we have executed these two sets of test cases, now let me explain you this command. Now here we have written WebDriver driver is equal to new Firefox driver. We can also write Firefox driver dr1 is equal to new Firefox driver. This command is also valid. Okay, there's no harm in writing Firefox driver dr1 is equal to new Firefox driver. But what are the disadvantages behind this statement? I'll tell you. Now see, when you're working in an organization, you are working with many people. You will be having at least 500 number of test cases, and out of which 250 test cases are need to be automated. So there are large number of test cases which are need to be automated. In that you will be supporting the cross-browser testing. So you have to simultaneously run multiple browsers at the same time. Okay, and there are a large number of test cases. Now see, the advantage behind writing WebDriver driver is equal to new Firefox driver. Here you are not stick to one browser. You can execute multiple browsers this way. But whereas if we write Firefox driver driver1 is equal to new Firefox driver, here we are stick to one driver. It is we are specific towards a driver, that is the Firefox driver. Here if you want to change to Chrome driver, it will be, you have to write Chrome driver dr2 is equal to new. This is what you have to write if you want to change to Chrome driver, and you have to comment this line. And even you have to change, there will be many other changes also in the program because of a driver. Okay, so this thing is very harmful. It is not a good practice of writing this command, that is the Firefox driver driver is equal to new Firefox driver. Whereas if you're working with this and there is a situation where you have to change to Chrome driver, you have to simply just change over here Chrome driver. You'll just write Chrome driver and your entire program will be launched through a Chrome driver. Okay, so this is the difference between the WebDriver driver is equal to new Chrome driver and the Chrome driver driver is equal to new Chrome driver. These are the problems that we are facing if we are writing Chrome driver is equal to new Chrome driver. That is, the program is specific towards the Chrome driver. Whereas if you are writing WebDriver is equal to new Chrome driver, it is not specific towards a particular browser. Okay, so let's first revise what have we understood in this tutorial. So what did we learn? The first thing that we learned is to launch the browser. In case of Chrome browser, how did we do? First we set the property through a system class, that is a system.set property, in which we are having two string, we need to enter two string values, that is the string key and the string value. In case of Chrome driver, the string key is the WebDriver Chrome driver, whereas the string value will be the path where our executable file is saved. The next statement is that we are going to write WebDriver driver is equal to new Chrome driver. Through these commands, it will launch the Chrome browser. Now in case of Firefox browser, same, we are going to write system.set property, but the key value will change, that is the WebDriver.getCode.driver, and also the path where our Firefox driver is placed, that will also change. Okay, then the next command will be WebDriver driver is equal to new Firefox driver. Through this command we are launching our Firefox browser. Next, we learned how to navigate to a particular URL. Simply we will use driver.get command. The get command is used to navigate to a particular URL. We have to include the HTTPS, all the website, any URL you are entering over here, you have to enter the full URL, the entire URL, including the HTTPS. Okay. Then to close the browser, we learned how to close the browser, that is we are using the close command, that is a driver.close command. So the next thing that we learned is about the hierarchy of the classes and the interfaces. That is, we learned first thing about the search context. It is a super interface of the WebDriver and it has only two methods, that is the find element and the find elements. Next, we learned that the WebDriver is an interface which extends the search context interface, and the WebDriver has methods like the get method, the get title, get current URL, close, quit, etc. That has many methods, and also it has the nested interfaces also. Then the remote WebDriver is a fully implemented class which implements the WebDriver interface. Okay. Then we have the Chrome driver, the Internet Explorer driver, the Firefox driver, Opera, Safari driver. All these are child classes of the remote WebDriver class, and they provide the browser-specific implementation of the Selenium WebDriver. So these are the hierarchy of the classes and the interfaces of the Selenium WebDriver. Next we learned that what are the this PPT shows that what are the valid statements that we can write through creating an object of Chrome driver and how can we refer it. Now writing WebDriver driver is equal to new WebDriver. This command is wrong. Okay, this command is wrong. We can write WebDriver driver is equal to new Chrome driver, new Firefox driver, new Internet Explorer driver. This is the best practice. In industry level, we use the WebDriver driver is equal to new Chrome driver. This command is frequently cut. This command is only used because writing this command, Firefox driver, through this, it is the program, the script that you're writing is specific towards a Firefox only. It is launching, it will launch only the Firefox browser. Whereas over here also it will launch only the Firefox driver, but there's a situation where you have to change the driver. They might say that the company says that you have to launch the Chrome browser, launch the entire test script in the Chrome browser. So what you're going to do is you just have to simply change over here to Chrome driver and you're done. But whereas if you're writing Firefox driver, you have to change the entire statement and there will be other statements also that you have to change. Okay. So the best practice is the WebDriver practice. WebDriver driver is equal to new Firefox driver. But whereas if you write Chrome driver is equal to new Chrome driver, there's no harm in it. But the best practice is to write the WebDriver.